Well, get your crystal ball out, people. What does the housing market look like in 2024? We're going to dive into that with our most special guest, Mike Arias, along with a weekly housing market update for the high desert and an episode or an installment of Check This Out, all today on The Brian Hirsch Show. Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening from whatever time of day it is, from wherever you are listening to today's episode of the Brian Hurst Show. We are ever so delighted that you have elected to join us. And today we're going to be talking about a topic of conversation as we close out 2023 and to project, get our crystal balls out and predict what we think will happen in 2024 with the housing market. It is, again, probably the most commonly talked about topic on this show. And it's probably the most commonly talked about topic I have among people. I get asked on a weekly basis, how's the market? What does the market look like? Do you see things changing? And so we've brought in today a very special guest. He's no stranger to the Brian Hirsch Show. I think this is his third or fourth visit to us. And this is somebody that watches the numbers and analyzes the numbers perhaps more than I do. I would like everybody to please welcome to today's episode, Mr. Mike Arias. Mike, what is up?
Hey, thanks for having me back. I love always coming on, man. Thanks so much. I think it's the third time, yeah. So thanks for having me.
I love talking business with you anyway, but to get to do it where we give our audience a chance to be a fly on the wall
Yeah.
and listen into our conversation is even more, I guess adds value to people. It
Right.
allows them to hear from a couple of nerds. We're a couple of nerds when it comes to the numbers.
Right.
So you send out a weekly little video and you send out graphs, and I'm on your list about the housing market. You know what? There's a couple of things before we dive into 2024. I think last week you sent out a little memo. And just for reference, if people wanted to get in on your mailing list, where would they go?
They could go to, they could email me directly, or they could call me on my cell phone number. But my email address, yeah, MikeAriasJr@gmail.com. That would work.
Okay. And then they could get, the weekly information from you.
Sure.
It was interesting. You said that the builders scooped up 500 lots. Was it just in Hesperia?
Yeah, most of these transactions were in Hesperia, and what's interesting is Lennar Homes has never been up here in the Victor Valley ever. So it's the first time they acquired land up here. It's funny because we went to these economic forecasts, throughout the years, last over a decade. And when we would go to these economic forecasts after the Great Recession, 2012, 13, 14, 15, we would always talk to these public builders down there and be like, hey, when are you guys going to come back? When are you guys going to come back, get back to the high desert? And they're like, we're never coming back because they got stung so hard. Remember back in whatever it was, 20, I think maybe 2010, it was all over the national headlines when they burnt the community down after they had already erected like all the model homes, and they burned them all down because they were not going to finish that project or whatnot.
They literally, but they burned them down?
They burned them down. It was
Oh my goodness. That was over on west of 395?
Yep, that's exactly right. So, it was like every year these guys were like, we're never coming back. Well, of course, the stock market and their shareholders push them into different locations or whatever. So obviously they had all come back. Well, Lennar Homes has never been here. They acquired 100 and some lots. We got like the 500 lots just in Hesperia alone, where these guys had just recently purchased. And what's funny is these guys are saying, the market's down, the market's not good, nothing's really happening, but yet these guys would go purchase almost $25 million worth of land. within a 1 week period. All different, 3 different builders. It's over $20 million, well over $20 million bucks. So it's crazy to see these guys. And then you got another transaction that's happening. Supposedly, we haven't had full confirmation, but it's pretty solid. You got Amazon that's already occupying a 1.3 million square foot industrial warehouse in the city of Victorville, right? Then they have their 100,000 square footer over here on Bear Valley Road, which is their Amazon next day or last mile, Amazon the last mile. And we were hearing talks in the industrial sector where Amazon is pulling back, right? They're not expanding no more. They're not doing any more warehouses. They're pulling back. Then all of a sudden, about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, we hear that they might have inked a lease deal for the 1.1 million square footer over here on the 15 freeway in 395, which is like, and I was telling some of my other buddies, I'm thinking, these guys are probably in negotiations with millions of square feet. And they're going, you know what? We need a deal. We need a deal on all this stuff. Let's put the press out there that we're pulling back, renegotiate some stuff, and then close on it. And supposedly, this will be their third location up here in the Victor Valley. It's crazy to see them within, 5 miles as the bird flies to over 1 million square foot industrial warehouse and distribution centers is nuts.
You said that they're signing a lease on it?
Yeah, they're gonna supposedly they signed a lease on that deal over 1 million square foot. The other one they built themselves, supposedly.
Gotcha.
And put together for this one, and that's what they do. They'll either build the suit or they'll lease.
Well, it's a pretty big employer then.
Huge employer. So again, with all this stuff that's happening that we've talked about on the show before, is you got all this development happening. Where are these people going to live? There's nowhere to go. They have to build homes. That's the only thing we can do.
Okay, well, Mike, the state of the housing market as we sit today, this has been the theme of 2023.
Yeah.
It's the combination of high prices, high interest rates,
Yeah.
and low inventory.
Yeah.
So you just drove from down the hill and you were caught in gridlock traffic coming back up.
Gridlock traffic.
That's the picture of the housing market.
Yeah.
It's in gridlock.
Yeah.
And people ask me, do you see anything changing?
Yeah.
And this is just my opinion. I'm interested to hear your take on it. I think this is how it's going to be for a while. I don't see any of those three factors changing dramatically anytime soon. Pricing, interest rates, inventory.
Yeah.
What say you?
So what's interesting, we look back to last year this time, we creeped almost up to 1,700 homes on the market. And remember, we're coming out of the greatest economy, the greatest housing market we've ever seen, right?
Right.
But people still think, because again, they lag behind real time, people still think that they can get max dollar a year, just over a year ago, right? So they're still trying to, okay, I could get $500,000, let's say, for my house still. In reality, prices were already adjusting downwards. But again, people don't know that, so people are continuing to put their homes on the market because they think, hey, timing is everything, which it is, and they think they can get out of it, right? So the problem is that one doesn't sell for 30, 60, 90 days. More people continue to put their homes on the market. We go from a 600-700 homes on the market to almost 1,700 homes on the market in a matter of a few months. Prices just start to fall, right? So we almost adjust. We double the inventory, and then we drop $40,000 in a matter of a short period of time. And I'm thinking, this is it. This is it. Everybody's going to try to get rid of their house right now. But what happens is, it wasn't the buyers that continued to buy. It was people pulling their homes off the market because they're going, you know what? This 2.5-3% interest rate, we probably should just stay, right? The payment is cheap. So people start pulling their homes off the market. They weren't selling more homes. They were pulling their homes off the market. Inventory starts to drop back down. We get back down to 691 homes on the market, coming from 1,700 homes. 1,700 homes to 691.
How quickly so you said people were pulling they were withdrawing, or the listings were expiring,
whatever it may be. So that happened
all in the first quarter of 2023.
almost 1,700 homes in November of last year, 2022, and we get to 691 in June of 2023. So 6 month inventory plummets. Buyers start to buy again, right? And then, so again, we start to see some more inventory come on the market. Interest rates start to creep up again. Buyers start to back off again. Homes start to come on the market. So then we creep back up. But from then to now, from June, from 691 homes on the market to today, I just updated the number right now, 954 homes on the market. You're talking 200 homes. That's it. And homes are selling at a way low rate, obviously, but they're still selling. 8% interest rate, still selling. Again, that just tells you the demand that's out there, right? There is still a demand, even at 8.5% interest rate. The other thing to think about, which a lot of us don't think about up here in the Victor Valley that live here, because again, our homes we bought at a good price, at a good interest rate. When people come up from down the hill and they see the homes and they see the payments at $4,500 a month, $5,000, that's what they've been paying. They've already been paying that. So for them, the sticker shock is not that great. To us that live here, born and raised here, we've seen this thing come from $89,000 to $500,000. But the people that live out of the area, which most of our buyers are from out of the area, it's not a big deal to them. That's why the inventory keeps moving, and we're still the most affordable place in Southern California.
Okay. So to reiterate, there's 3 conditions that are creating the gridlock: high pricing, high rates, low inventory.
Yeah.
Is there anything, in your opinion, in the next 18 to 24 months, other than the fact that we have an election year coming up? So there may be some shenanigans.
Yeah.
But any of those conditions going to change?
Now, what's setting us up right now, today, for the new year, again, we're in a better position than we were a year ago. Inventory-wise, median home sales price-wise, because again, at this time we were dropping price. This time we've only went from $420,000 to $413,000. So we haven't really done anything on price on the median, right? So
let's take a look real quick here, year over year. This is only for the 7 cities. This doesn't include Barstow,
right,
or Lucerne or Pinion Hills. Let's take a look at that real quick. So year over year, this has fascinated me, and I want you to speak to this. You say we're in a better position now than we were a year ago.
Yeah.
So a year ago, we sold 319 homes in the same period. This is October 28 through November 28, at a median sale price of $402,000.
Yeah.
1 year later, we sold 282 homes at a median sale price of $425,000.
Right.
So 11% fewer homes, 5.5% more expensive.
Yeah. So
help the audience understand how that puts us in a better position today than 1 year ago.
So if you think about it, if you take the last year into effect, half of the year was still a crazy year, right? We were still coming out of the greatest market ever. And then the second half of the year is when everything kind of fell apart as the interest rates started to rise. So what's setting us up better this time is, in inventory-wise, down, and price has not adjusted too much, and interest rate is starting to come back down too. So we got all these different factors that are actually helping us. But again, like I said before, if you're talking about people that live here, that want to sell from here and rebuy here, that situation is just, again, it's kind of a sticker shock, because most of these people are coming from an unbelievable interest rate, 2.5%, 3% all day long. They're going to have to get ready to rebuy at a 5.5%, maybe, hopefully by the beginning of the year-ish, middle of the year. If they could stomach that, they're still going to sell high. Yeah, they're going to probably buy high, but again, you either buy high, sell high, or buy low, sell low. That's the only way this thing works. But again, these people are going to have to come to grips, because right now, you're seeing it, the only sellers we have today are people that have to sell. It's divorces, probates, for the majority of our sellers that we see the transactions come through here. It's the divorces and probates, the people that have to sell. We need the people that want to sell. We need that group again, right? But the only way we're going to get that group again is if they can rebuy and be comfortable with the interest rate. And right now the spread is too far. From a 3 to a 6.5, 7, it's too far. But from a 3 to a 5, 5.5, now it makes a little bit more sense. They could stomach that payment, and that's what I believe we're going to see as we come into this new year. Low inventory, meaning some home sales price isn't doing nothing, so it's not like, oh, we're going to wait for the prices to fall. Prices are falling. If they're going to jump in, they're going to have to jump in before this interest rate gets to those fives, because I believe once these rates get into the fives, if we're already seeing them continuing to buy at 8, what are they going to do at 5? More people are going to jump in. I think it's every percentage point that it goes down. I forget what it is nationwide, but it's something crazy, like 1 million more buyers get into the market of some sort. It's something huge.
Well, for one, you're pricing more buyers in.
Yep.
You know, they didn't qualify before. Yep. So in other words, median sale price is $425. And at 8%, the buyer only qualifies for, say, $350 or $375, and there's nothing on the market. I mean, literally, if I were to show you what's on the market at that price point, you'd be like, holy cow, there's not, I mean, nothing of quality anyway. And then all of a sudden, this is today's going rate for an FHA deal is, 6.25, 6.5. Now maybe they can buy at 425.
For sure. More buyers are going to come into the market if this rate continues to trickle down, and it's just going to cause, again, because the demand that is there, the demand that is there. Like at 8%, I thought, oh my gosh, there's going to be no transactions happening. Shoot, kept going. I mean, we haven't really varied much off of the 50, 60, 70 homes a month or a week going in escrow. You would think you would see that fall way down at an 8%, 8.5% interest rate. That happened for, a good solid 30 days there. And it didn't waver very much.
Well, I just out of curiosity, and it'll be interesting over the next 30 days. I'll take another look at this. I'll do a year in review on the show. But the 7 cities you're looking at there moved in the last, 365 days.
Yeah.
Just under 4,100 homes.
Yeah.
So 4,079. And we normally move historically around 5,000.
Right.
So we were down about 20%.
Yeah.
Off our normal absorption rate. What you're saying is with the rates getting up to where they were, you would expect to see them, us be off by 30 or 40 or 50%.
Plummet. You thought they would have plummet. And the reason why you show a 5.4% increase in the median home sales price year over year, because again, in January was almost the bottom of that little dip that we had. We went from 423 number to almost 387. So now you take it from the beginning of the year to now. Yeah, we've jumped up, but in reality, we're still a little bit lower than our peak pricing a year ago.
Yeah, when was the peak pricing? Was it last summer?
Yeah, April, May-ish of last.
And you're saying we're a little under that?
Yeah, we peaked out at 423.5 last year was our peak, and then our peak 3 months ago was 420. So we didn't get past that 423.5, and now we're down at 413. So like I said, we didn't get past the last year's peak pricing, and we haven't moved that far off of this year's peak either.
So with the numbers that you're sharing, that tells you why I don't include those outlying areas, Barstow, Lucerne, Pinion Hills, because you're saying how many active listings?
Right now at 954.
So that's 160.
Yeah, 160 homes.
Or 159 homes differential.
Yeah.
And the absorption rate in those areas is, and the sale price in those areas is so dramatically lower. If you bake them into the figures, it skews the numbers a little bit. So in other words, if you say, yeah, our median sale price in the desert is 413, when my numbers say 425, to the consumer that is expecting to find a good house around between 400 and 420,000, they may say, "What the heck? Everything's more expensive." Well, you can find something cheaper if you go out further.
Sure.
So
Or
I don't
yeah,
know.
or the median is the median because everything happens above and beyond, above and below it, and all the
Right,
action is at that number, right? So that's and like you look at Wrightwood's home prices are significantly higher. Pinion
right.
Hill, sometimes they have a
Oh, you include Wrightwood.
oh yeah, Wrightwood, Pinion Hills, Oak Hills, Phelan, Barstow.
Well, I have Oak Hills.
Yeah, yeah, you got
the the way I mean, for me anyway, like over my 13-year career, I could count on one hand how many homes I sold in Wrightwood,
yeah, right.
Barstow, Lucerne. It's not very many, but all of these cities, this is where the action happens. But
Sure, yeah.
at any rate, I mean, we're not that far apart. But is the differential, you think, the same? The absorption rate and the price differential,
Yeah, I think it's all pretty
the
close.
percentages?
And the way I run my median home sales price is I'm always looking at 2 months and average the 2 months together because a lot of times when people take the 1 month at a time, it just does this too much.
Oh, that's true.
So
Yeah.
I'm taking two
I
months
mean,
at a
I'm doing it every week, and
yeah,
like, from last week to this week, there was like a $10,000
swing.
differential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always
And
averaging at least 2 months at a time, averaging those to get me more steady line. Because you'll see sometimes where it looks like it fell, but it's like in reality, did it really fall and jump up 5, 10 grand every month?
then the active listings, the median sale price is 462,000.
You know.
So that just tells you that those higher priced homes, just take longer to move.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, on average, I'm showing my weekly right now at 47 days on market, 38, 47. So it's hovering right in that area from what I see in the entire MLS. And again, these are pendings that I look at. I look at the pendings, the days, average days on market. But I mean, still, like I said, in a standard market, if you go back to, prior to 2010, 2009, I mean, a lot of times these things sat on the market for 90 days. That was an average day on market. It wasn't a big deal. 4 months, not a big deal. We haven't seen that in over a decade. I mean, that's how fast this market is continuing to move. And again, we're the population continues to climb, it continues to grow. It just shows you that the demand for the Victor Valley, not only on the commercial, industrial side, the residential side, everything is moving forward. I try to tell people, I said, this is what's happening to this valley is going to be like living through Ontario 30 years ago, LA back in the 30s. I mean, this is where we're at right now. It's finally our time. The expansions here, the development that's happening in North Apple Valley. We just approved another 2.5 million square foot industrial distribution center there that they're going to hopefully break ground here pretty soon with a $20 million utility improvement to bring the utilities to the site. I mean, these guys are spending big money. It's going to be over $100 million project. But these guys, and that's one out of three that just recently got approved. We got another one that just got approved at 1.1 million square feet. Another one that's supposed to be coming out at the beginning of the year at a 1.3, I think, million square footer. And supposedly we've got 20 million square feet in the pipeline just in North Apple Valley for industrial warehouses. Like I said, man, this is nuts. What's going on up here?
So to the person watching, I mean, let's be real. This has been a tough year.
Yeah.
This has been a tough year for a lot of people in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And the economic climate from our current administration, they don't seem in even on the state level in Sacramento, they're not big on pro growth, pro business, low regulation, low taxes, stimulate, more growth, more manufacturing. They seem to do everything they possibly can to curtail
Yeah.
growth and expansion. And in spite of that, the economy, in spite of our current administration's best efforts I can't help but to believe that's like, I don't know. I don't want to say, because I don't know for sure that it was purposeful, but these are smart people. They have to know that the night President Biden is inaugurated, he signs executive orders curtailing the production of fossil fuels.
Right.
They had to know that that would have a detrimental effect on the economy, right? These are smart people.
For sure.
So they did that on I can't help but to think that they do some of this stuff on purpose.
For sure.
But even so, the jobs, people are still working.
You almost wonder, like, I wonder too. It's just, I mean, the affordability right now is not only on housing, but on just
Everything.
I mean, everything is just through the roof, right? I mean, we're coming from $2.98 a gallon to now we're $5, and we hit over $6 too, or whatever. But from the groceries, all these different things, it's amazing how people are still buying homes. To be honest, I mean, I'm just sitting back going,
Well,
oh,
and that median sale price 425,
yeah,
the mortgage is going to be like $3,500.
for sure. And then you drive through like these Mission Viejos and these, what Rancho Cucamonga, all these areas, you just see house after house packed in tight, 600, 700, 800, 900, and we're over here thinking, these people are crazy buying 500,000 houses. But this is nothing compared to right down the hill. That's what I'm saying. The affordability is what is so attractive up here.
Right.
That is what's so great for us, And like I tell people too, with the development that's coming, that's happening, even if this economy were to, I don't know, get worse or fall into a deep recession of some sort, if these projects continue to go, we might not see a very big effect on any of this stuff locally because of the demand of industrial, the manufacturing, the warehousing, the railroad, high-speed train, all this stuff, because they, like BNSF, that is to clean the air in LA and to reduce, emissions and get traffic out. That they have to do that. That is not something BNSF, let's try this. No, this is mandated to clean the air, to clean the traffic up, to get all that stuff to happen. Then you look at the high speed train. Can this happen? Will this happen? Again, it's something that's mandated to relieve traffic and to get people up and out of this valley, the LA basin, through the Cajon Pass. This stuff has to happen. It's not about these guys wishing and wanting and thinking, oh, this is a cool idea. These guys have to do this because of the state and because of the green, the clean energy, the green energy, all that stuff too. That's why the whole rail facility in Barstow is going to be all electric. That's why this high-speed train is all electric. I mean, these guys are creating their own madness, which is good for us. This stuff is going to be huge benefit for us, but it's because they have to get it done.
I didn't know that. The BNSF move from they're in Long Beach?
Yeah, Long Beach and San
Moving
Pedro.
their operations to Barstow was mandated?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they have to relieve traffic. They have to clean the air. And the only way they can get to those emissions, the only way they can get to that clean energy, clean air, is by clean energy, but getting all that stuff out of there. So what better way to put it on 2 to 3 mile long trains, relieve probably 70% of the truck traffic out of the LA basin, push them up here on 2 to 3 mile long trains, and then from Barstow, clean it air around 360 days of sunshine. From there, they will disperse via truck up to 58, the 395, the 15, the 40 freeways to get it out of California instead of coming out of LA. So, like I said, this is 30,000 jobs, probably indirectly 60,000 jobs will come from this project alone. So if nothing else happens, BNSF has the money. They have to get this thing done. It's going to happen, and it's going to bring a ton of jobs and a ton of people.
Have they already broken ground?
No, so what they're the stage that they're in right now is they're in eminent domain. So the people that were trying to hold out, to negotiate the biggest, best price they could, you're not going to stop a project of this capacity. They've already acquired almost all of their 4,000 acres. They got, probably 500 acres left to go. They've already sent out all the eminent domain letters. So negotiations are over. They're going to get a market value. They're going to get these people's property through the legal system, but they have to acquire the property so they can get moving. They hope to break ground in 2025, completion by 2027. Because remember, they're not building any buildings; they're just laying track, and they got those big pickers to grab those containers off and set them off of the train onto the trucks and stuff. So it's going to be, it should be a pretty fast. But again, right when this thing happens, I mean, you're talking major job creation already. This is going to be the biggest thing, like I said, we're going to live through for sure up here, no doubt.
After our last show, and you talked about Silver Lakes being undervalued,
For sure.
my group, a contractor and investor that I work with, we have the three amigos. I find the deals and market properties for them. Builder builds it, investor funds it. We scooped up 6 lots.
Nice.
In Silver Lakes, and those homes are going to be in the ground probably in March.
Nice.
And we'll be ready to take to market by next summer.
Yeah.
And that's going to be a very attractive place to live. The Hullendale market's going to dramatically change in the next 2 years.
It's going to be big. I mean, even Barstow. I got clients that are buying all of a sudden, man. Everybody's buying in Barstow, buying in.
Sure.
Going like you're not gonna get the prices in Silver Lakes or Hellendale ever again. Not gonna happen. No. There's no, especially Silver Lakes. I mean, that thing is a rock throw away from that deal. It's far enough away, but if you are, and supposedly I just heard this, that these jobs that BNSF put together, they're all over $100,000 jobs. So these guys make decent money, and they're gonna want to live in a decent community. Barstow is going to probably be developing, I'm sure, some better areas. They already have one of the areas that is a nicer area, the Heights or whatever, but I'm sure you're going to see some more communities pop up over there because they want to be close to where they work. I mean, that's just the bottom line. And maybe they're going to drive in here, no doubt, obviously to the Victor Valley for sure. But for these local, closer areas, those things I think are going to explode.
Well, so get the crystal ball out, Mike. If somebody were to tell you, well, let's talk about the 3 factors. First of all, price. Where's price going this year?
I think it's going up. I think it's going to continue to climb. I don't know how fast it's going to go, but I believe it's going to go. But here's what's crazy as I'm looking at the data as I just ran right here. Like I said, we've been sitting in these middle 900 numbers for inventory, right? So what does that mean? This leads to everything. If this inventory is not shooting up in the slowest time of the whole year, every year, year after year during the holiday season, if the inventory is not climbing at all, it's actually starting to drop again right now. We enter in a new year at a nicer interest rate, 6s, maybe high 5s, with low interest rate and with low inventory. Inventory starts to slide down. What does that mean? Supply and demand. I mean, there's nothing crazy about this whole deal. Lower inventory, and we get a little bit more demand of buyers. This price has to keep trickling up. And remember, we trickled up from $387,000 on my data here, and we shot back up to 420 within a matter of months. Now we're only at 413. We're not 387. We're at 413. We might be 430, 440 by summertime. That is very, very palatable if the interest rate continues to trickle down.
Well, okay, so that's the second condition. Where do you see the rates going?
I believe these things are going to get into the 5s. I wouldn't doubt we see the high 5s here within the first quarter. And if that happens, I mean, perfect storm all over again. I got the foreclosure numbers. I just finished those up or whatever. We had a spike in the notice of default, but every once in a while we have a spike, it happens. We had 115 notice of defaults. What do we have on the actual ones that got taken back by the bank? 10.
Oh, man.
0. I mean, 0.
Hey, can you, this was something that you mentioned. It was either in our last show or on one of your videos you send out. How many total SFRs are there in our market?
There's about 113,000 if we take in the entire Victor Valley, including the Barstow, Wrightwood, all that stuff.
113,000.
113,000 homes.
And of the 113,000, how many of them went back to the bank?
10 last month. 10 last month, 8 the month before, 10 the month. I mean, nothing. I mean, 0. So it's like, that machine is not looking like it's going anywhere, notice default wise, right? So if that's the case, we got low inventory, rates cooperate, which they're doing. It's like a perfect storm all over again. So like I said, and if we get into those fives, maybe we get some of those wanting sellers up here to actually say, you know what, hey, ready to get rid of the smaller house. Let's upgrade the house. Interest rates is not that bad. Payment's not that crazy. We're always going to make more money. I try to tell people that, look at the payment now. 10 years from now, you're always going to make more money. So people, I want to strap myself. I'm never going to be able to do anything. It doesn't happen. A year goes by, 2 years go by, you get raised, make a little bit more money before you go, man, thank God I bought the house when I did. Right? And that last video or the two before that was the appreciation. How much, because people always ask, well, maybe it's not a good time to buy. And I said, listen, that's why I put that video together. If you bought in the peak of the market in 2006, $323,000, and you sold or you still owned your home through this peak last year for $423,000, even still, because people remember, you bought in 2006, by 2008, if you weren't ready to jump off the cliff because the price dropped 70%. People going, oh my God, the house is never going to recover. Well, from 2006 to 2023, you gained almost $100,000 of equity, even buying at the last peak. So when people ask the question, is it a good time to buy? It's always a good time to buy.
Always.
Never a bad time to buy.
Mm.
As long as you're holding on. If you're buying and flipping, it's a whole other story. But if we're living in this home, it's never a bad time to buy.
Well, Mike, you're a treasure trove of knowledge. I personally am a much better real estate professional because of my relationship with you.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And I enjoy the time. Do you remember a few years ago you were going around handing out your tumblers that said Chicago title on them?
Yep.
And you said these are made in the same place as Yeti. Do you remember that? And I said, really? And you said, China. And then you did that laugh where you go, ha. Well, guess what I have in the check this out segment of the show, which you just get to be on all the segments. Okay.
Perfect.
So my wife bought some stuff from this. Have you heard of this place, Temu?
Yeah, Temu, yeah.
Have you fooled around with them?
No, I've heard about it though.
Yeah, and I think all this stuff's manufactured in China. And I bought 3 pairs of shoes yesterday, and they're en route. They're somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, I think. 3 pairs of shoes for $30.
What?
I'm serious. I'm dead serious. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. They may show up and I may hate them and tell you that there's a reason why they're $30. But the stuff that she got, I mean, who knows how long the stuff will last, but I mean, they're really trendy, cool stuff that she got for, it's pennies on the dollar.
Really?
So Temu, check it out.
I'm gonna
download the app. Buy a few outfits and we'll sport them together at the first team Christmas party coming up.
Yeah, maybe we got to do a section on this thing where we actually, try the stuff on and wear it or something. What's this $10 shoe? It only lasted a month, but hey, at least I got a month out of it.
That would be hysterical, especially if we got Bobby T with us. Like,
that would be great, man. It'd be hilarious. I think
that would be awesome, dude. All right. Well, so to sum it all up, prices aren't going anywhere. And if you can swing it, bite the bullet, buy a house and do the best you can, because waiting for them to become more affordable. The only thing that can improve is rates.
Right.
But what I tell people is I'm like, just buy the house, and when the rates drop, refinance.
For sure.
Yeah.
And we know it's going to happen. Like I said, we're seeing it. We're seeing it live right now. Rates are coming down slowly.
All right. Any parting thoughts before we get you out of here?
Just one more thing. I had a friend, same thing. They bought a house, actually built a house for them back in 2000, and I think it was 15. They sold it in, maybe it was 2014. They sold it in 2018. They say, now we're going to move up to Utah. We're just going to kind of wait and see, take our equity. It was 2023, and they're still living in their motor home, waiting for prices to come down. Don't be that person.
Dang. Man, they're dying.
Yeah.
From
Well, they're freezing.
straight
They're freezing. They're up in Utah.
from you could probably buy something to warm yourself up on Temu.
Yeah.
Hey, brother, appreciate you. Have a great Christmas and New Year, and we'll bring you on sometime in the first quarter, and we'll talk
Yeah.
more numbers.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate
All right,
it.
my friend, and thanks for. I know you had some trouble getting up the hill from your meeting. Thanks for jumping on with us.
Anytime.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
There he is, guys. Mike Arias, always good for knowledge, always good for a laugh. Please do like, share, and subscribe this podcast and live stream for people because, listen, the reason we do this is we want to help you. We want to help you win in real estate and in life. We'll see you next week. Until then, we are serving your dreams on The Brian Hirsch Show.